when it was all said and done. Ryan Montgomery picking up the biggest win so far of his career with the Chew on This Jerky Ultimate Super Late Model Series. Of course, Florence got rained out on Saturday night, and that was pretty disappointing. I mean, you said you were like right near the racetrack when they called it, right? And then you hightailed it to Ohio Valley. Am I correct?
Yeah, we were about an hour away, and they called it. They rained out because of the rain that was in the area and stuff. And luckily, we had enough time to try to make it back to Ohio Valley, which is just south of Parkersburg, West Virginia. And we raced there on Saturday night.
So, as a sanctioning body, series body, media people, we know what it's like to deal with rainouts. What is the atmosphere like inside the race hauler with the family and the driver whenever you're on the way going to race? Your intentions are to race, and then you get a big letdown saying, sorry guys, we got to cancel.
It's kind of like it's depressing in a way, you know. I look forward to going to Florence and other racetracks too. I mean, unfortunately, they've been getting rained out. I've never been to Florence, so it was. I was hoping to get that experience, but
right.
It's depressing trying to turn around and you're trying to find another place to race. Sometimes it doesn't always work out the way that you want it to. You don't get to race, but you have all that preparation and everything, and to get into the racetrack, and then unfortunately, Mother Nature has its toll.
Definitely. Again, Ryan Montgomery joining us on the program. Ryan, real quickly, for those that are tuned in the finish line, talk a little bit about your racing career, how you got started, and where you build up to where you're at now.
I started in go-karts at a very young age, at the age of 7, and then we traveled around with, like, World Karting Association, the Tri-State Pro Series in the South. That's where we prominently did a lot of our racing was in South Carolina and North Carolina, Georgia, Florida, Virginia, those places. And then we kind of found out about fast track. We moved into crate cars, running fast track. And we started touring with you guys and Stan Lester and DJ and all those guys. And I ran that for many years. I won the Futures Cup and stuff in that, and won the World Challenge in 2016.
That's right.
Came very close to winning the World Championship a couple times. I've been wanting to win that race, and this year it pays even more than it has in previous years. I thank everybody at Virginia Motor Speedway for the track prep and everything that they do for us in crate racing world. And then I moved into super lates about 2 years ago. I stayed pretty local. I ran my crate car when I could on the regional tour, and then the year after that is whenever they started the Mid-Ohio Valley Series, and we've been running that ever since. I mean, like last year, we won Rookie of the Year, and right. We've been just staying consistent and trying to make sure that our stuff, I get seat time, and seat time is a very big thing. So we've worked our way up to what we kind of know what we need to do in certain situations. The tires is a big thing now because in fast track we have 2 compounds. Now in super lates you have about, it seems like 20, but
right.
But we're just trying to figure everything out and make sure everything works.
So do you think that as far as the super late model tire compound, they need to condense it, so to speak, go back to the drawing board and cut that to like 2 or 3 compounds like the pro late model program is?
I mean, it's better when you're going to a sanctioned body because they have cut it down. But certain places when you do our local races, and it's just hard. Like especially around here, certain people allow us a lot of different tires. Right. I mean, I know you don't run those tires. You can go. They don't get as hard as some of them claim that you can run. But you always have to have that tire for just for anything, for preparation, especially when you're traveling around unsanctioned events. That's why it's good to have sanctioned bodies. So that way it cuts that tire roll down a little bit.
Oh, definitely. So, you mentioned this race, and me and Kelley talked about it. Do you think there's a lot of super late model races that have got their eye in the radar looking at Jamaica, Virginia, September 12th, 13th, and 14th for that $50,000 win World Championship?
Oh, there has to be. I mean, that's a big money payout for anybody. I mean, that could change anybody's season. They have one of the greatest facilities that I have ever been to. The racetrack's always spot on. It's never crazy rough. It's always super smooth. It's got, its traction, and then, it's just, there's 2 or 3 grooves at all times. It's a great place to race. I mean, if you've never been there, then you need to go there and watch or at least race.
Oh, absolutely, definitely. I-77 Speedway. What was your thoughts of that track on Friday night?
I've been there a couple times. It was real good. It had rained all week.
Right.
Here close to the house, and we live pretty close to Ripley, where that racetrack is, and for all the rain that we had, and all the preparation that they did, the racetrack I thought was great. It was in great condition. It held good bite. It had a cushion on it early. It didn't necessarily slick off. There wasn't crumbs everywhere. It wasn't throwing a bunch of dust. I thought the track prep was really good.
Definitely, bud. Well, I know it was a very big win for you. I would love to spend more time with you. Hell, I'd love to give you the rest of the hour. But I do know that you have a job, you're working, and I know you're on your lunch break, and it would be very disrespectful of me to keep you on while you're trying to eat lunch and take a break before getting back on the clock. So I think we've got everything that we needed. Thank you so much, my friend, for being on the last 10 minutes. And I told you I'd make it quick because I know you're a working man. Definitely.
Well, I appreciate it.
Well, listen, congratulations on your win at I-77. Where's Ryan Montgomery Racing going to this weekend?
We're going to head to Elkins on Friday, and then possibly either Cumberland or back to Ohio Valley on Saturday.
So I got a question for you. You got some big races coming up in the area for Supers next weekend for 4th of July. You've got the Lucas Oil at Tyler County on July 5th. You've got the 5,000 22 to win race at Elkins Raceway on July 6th with the Renegades of Dirt Modifieds. I'll be there for those events. Are you going to be up there with the Super?
Yes, we will be. We will be at those events. They're so close to home.
Awesome.
You have to. The money that they're paying out. It's a great time of the year. Everybody likes to have their bigger shows.
Cool deal.
Around this time.
Cool deal. Well, listen, thank you for being on Finish Line. Real quickly, thank out your sponsors and let people know how they can follow Flying Ryan Montgomery on social media.
I got to thank Central Supply, K2 Engineering, TJ Contracting, Montgomery Homes, Clemens Automotive, Rocket XR1, Big A Custom Graphics. I got to thank my crew, Kevin, Dad, my girlfriend Laura, Robbie Cyrus at Ultimate MOV for being an awesome promoter. And you can follow me on Facebook at Ryan Montgomery Racing, Twitter at RMR_racing, and Instagram at Flying Ryan.
And I said this to you at McDonald's at 3 a.m. Saturday morning after the Friday night race, and I'll say it to you on my show, Finish Line, Ryan Montgomery. It was such a privilege and honor of working alongside with Hal Foro to call your first Ultimate Super Late Model win just because of the relationship and how long we've known one another. Thank you, friend.
Oh, I appreciate it.
Definitely. Well, Ryan Montgomery, get back on the clock, get back to work. Ryan Montgomery there, driver of the number 12 Rocket XR1 at Fairmont, West Virginia. I'll tell you what, we're not even going to go to commercial timeout. We are going to thank our sponsors, and we're going to go quickly right back to the phone lines as we are about to wrap up the last half hour of Finish Line for this Wednesday, June 26th edition. By the way, all the podcast archives are available from the first show in February down at Daytona to today's show, talking about everything from New Hampshire to Ultimate at Lakeview, Ultimate at I-77, Southern National, Alabama, and so much more for this edition. It is available as soon as we go live off the air within 2 minutes. That's how fast my producer, Trace Knight, is at uploading it and getting these things back up on the archives. And also, of course, on Fox Sports Radio, Community Radio Network, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, iTunes Radio, Tuned In, Spreaker, and Spotify. On all of those media podcast affiliates, you can be able to get archives. Just simply put in hashtag Finish Line. I know I'm the hashtag king, like my friend Chris Nunn says. Oh, hey, by the way, speaking of my friend Chris Nunn, keep him in your thoughts and prayers. He was in the hospital a couple of days ago over the weekend, and he's a good friend of mine from up north, the announcer at tracks in Indiana, and I only get to see him a couple of times a year, maybe at PRI in Indianapolis, and I know he went through some health problems. Not sure if it's gallbladder or kidney stones or a heart attack or something worse. Not sure. Pray God it's not. But Chris Nunn, just want you to know, buddy, we're praying for you. And I also want to say thank you for everybody that was praying for my mother over the weekend. Friday, she ended up having to be rushed to the hospital via ambulance. And thank goodness, whatever it was, minor heart attack or stroke, she's doing better, high blood pressure, on some different medications. She's got to see a cardiologist to see if she's got to have a stent put in. But she is back at home resting well. And she's lost a lot of water weight. I think she lost like 15 pounds in the last 4 or 5 days because just of water weight backed up inside of her body. So happy with that. And God is good. God is real, and prayers are real as well. So thank you for everybody that prays for people because they work. Thank you to our sponsors. Thank you again. Finish Line, presented by All About Wraps. Thank you to Jason Parker, Bruce Kane, and by the way, keep the Parker family in your prayers and thoughts as well. But I thank them for sponsoring Finish Line right off the get-go back in February. Thank you to my friend Kate Dillon. Love you, young lady. Love you, lady, at CrateInsider.com. Again, everything for crate racing, crate tips, crate products, and more. CrateInsider.com. And most recently, Dean Delamar and all the great people there with Dirt Car Lift being on board as sponsors too. So thank you for those sponsors. We appreciate it. Was that a fast commercial or what?
This is Finish Line.
All right, we're getting ready to go back to the phone lines. Joining us here, 2 more guests to go. Underdog story from Southern National, and we are going to talk about that. Also, the young lady out of Alabama will be joining us, Jolynn Wilkinson. Those are our final guests coming up on the program today. But for right now, we go back to the phone lines. And, man, I hope I don't butcher this guy's name. I really do. He's got a hard one. When I think of his name, I think of hockey players. But they call him the Underdog. And just around my neck of the woods, while I was up north and announcing races in West Virginia and Kentucky, they had a big show for the Cars Tour. By the way, congratulations to junior motorsports driver Josh Berry. 2 wins of the Car Tour this year, redeeming himself after a controversial finish between him and Bobby McCarty at Motor Mile, and getting the win at Dominion Raceway. Well, the following day, Michael Diaz and all the people at Southern National Motorsports Park in Kinley, North Carolina, made the decision to race on Sunday afternoon, and it probably was a good idea, Brian Obadinsky, because you picked up the win. Underdog is here. Brian Obadinsky.
Have no fear, Wesley.
Have no fear. Underdog is here. Welcome to Finish Line, Brian.
Hey, man, I really appreciated all your sponsors also for having us on, man.
I hope I didn't butcher your name. I hope it's Obadinsky.
It's Obadinsky, but, you know, that's why we go by Obi, because it's just a little bit easier.
I was close. So the Z is silent. It's a Obadinsky. It's a Z. It's a J, right?
You got it. You got to thank Grandma from Poland for that one, man.
There you go. I was about to say, man, you're a fan of them Italian sausages. Brian Obadinsky is on the program. Underdog is joining us on the line. Man, talk about the Underdog story at Southern National on on Sunday afternoon, because when I got back to Charlotte, that was all the buzz I was reading about.
Yeah, man, it started out like every other day. We've had some really good recent success over the past couple of years down there at Southern National, and decided to take the plunge into late model racing. We've been running limited, and we've been running Charger and everything that I could get in, and any ride that I could grab from anybody, but decided this year we're going to focus strictly on one track, and that would be it. We welcomed a baby boy to the family of what was 3 at the point, but now we are the Obadinsky's party of 4, with my little baby boy being born just a month ago. And, man, we went out there. It was just like any other day. We had a good qualifying with a stacked field of guys that were chasing national points down there. But kudos to Mike Diaz and Southern National. They put on an 18-car field late model show that I'm assuming the fans didn't mind that on a Sunday. Even though it was an afternoon and unorthodox time, it was a show. It was nothing less than amazing. From where I was sitting, But it was twins, and both of the races were action-packed for those fans.
You know what, though, Brian? I think that's something that I have to commend Michael Diaz for. In any other racetracks, they got to think outside the box. If you know what, and I've said this on other radio shows, I've said it on the Morning Bull Ring and other things that I do with, if you get rained out on Saturday night, run on Sunday. Try to do midweek shows. Think outside the box, because I believe that if you do promotion and you do these things right, you could possibly – look at the Northeast.